Hey everyone, before we get into today's video, I just want to do a quick thank you and shout out to all of you, the new subscribers to this channel. I'm so grateful for all the love that was shown with my new channel trailer that I put out last week. I just wanted to give a quick, just thank you for the response to that video. And that's going to be my channel trailer sitting there to welcome people into this channel for a while. Hopefully more people will see it and enjoy it. But yeah, without any further ado, let's get into today's video where I'm actually kicking off a new series specifically about Mac's Finder. And it occurred to me as I was sort of preparing the graphics for this, like, Finder, it's only one letter off from a certain dating app. And I was like, what the hell? Let's make that the motif for this series. Without any further ado, let's get it on.
Finder. Just the tips and tricks.
Let's get it on.
You probably already know about showing the path bar at the bottom of your Finder window. If you didn't know that, well, head up to the menu bar and under View, click on Show Path Bar. I highly recommend just leaving this visible
forever.
Thing is, that visual path is not just there for reference so you know where you are, but it's actually interactive. You can click on any folder within that path to jump directly there. But let's say you want to stay in the current folder you're viewing, but also gain access to this other folder. Well, you can do this, but first we need to check on something. Go up top to the menu bar and click on Finder Settings. Alternatively, just press Command, Comma. Fun fact, Command and Comma typically launches settings in most apps. Notice this checkbox at the bottom here. If you want to open up a link from the path bar in a new tab, then make sure this is checked. If you prefer to open up a link from the path bar in a new window, then make sure this is not checked. Me personally, I'd rather open these path bar links in a new window, so I'm going to leave mine unchecked. Now that that's out of the way, let's go back to our Finder window. Now, instead of just clicking on a folder in the path bar this time, hold the Command key when you click on it, and voila. It opens up the desired path in a brand new window. Fun fact, in case you didn't know, there's similar functionality in web browsers. Well, sort of. If you're using Chrome or Brave, like me, holding down the Command key while clicking a link will open that link in a new tab. And to open a link up in a new window, press and hold the Shift key. And one more thing, if you press and hold the Option key when clicking a link, it will actually download the link. Doing that is basically a slightly quicker alternative to right-clicking and choosing Save Link As. Yeah, when it comes to web browsers with the Command and Shift and Option, yeah, the inconsistency is a bit annoying, but hey, at least now you know.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Let's get it on.
All right, let's talk about the views that are available to you when using Finder on your Mac. We're gonna focus on the column view today, but first, the basics. I'm assuming you all already know this, but just in case you're a relatively new Mac user, you've got 4 basic views to view your files. And there is a default keyboard shortcut to switch to each of these views. Command 1 for the icons view, Command 2 for the list view, Command 3 for the column view, and Command 4 for the gallery view. I'd also like to point out that when you're saving files from within any app, when the Save File dialog appears, you can actually use these same shortcuts to switch between the views to figure out where exactly you want to save your file to. Note that the gallery view is not available here though. Here's the thing. I know this can be kind of subjective, but in today's video, I'm going to make the potentially controversial claim that the column view is actually the best overall view. So let me take a little time to explain why and how I use this view for maximum efficiency and enjoyment.
I would also like to take a little time to enjoy the view.
Okay, so I actually used to think that the list view was the best, mostly because you had these informational columns where you could easily sort the folder's items by name, size, kind, or date created, etc. I used to think this was a unique advantage of the list view, but actually you can do this very same thing in the column view, while also enjoying some powerful benefits that are unique to the column view. But I'll get to that in a minute. First, let me say the key thing you need to do is utilize groups. There are a couple ways of doing this. The most obvious way that most people are probably used to is to click on this often ignored little button up here in your Finder's toolbar. If you don't see it, no problem. Just right click and select Customize Toolbar, and then just drag over the group button and then click Done. The other, perhaps lesser known way of activating groups is by using the keyboard shortcut Control and Command and 0. This will allow you to quickly toggle on or off whether you want to use groups or not. In fact, what you might want to do is change that shortcut to just Command and 0, since by default, that's not actually used for anything in Finder. If you're unaware of how to change these shortcuts, well, stick around, subscribe to this channel, because I'm actually going to make a separate video all about custom keyboard shortcuts, because that's a behemoth of a topic in and of itself. Okay, so now that groups are activated, let's see what we can do. At the moment, my folder is grouping items by kind. So as you can see, it's separated out the folders, then the images, then music files, then movies. Note that by default, it's still alphabetically sorting everything, except now within each file type group. Also notice though, how we kind of lose the ABC order under movies. This might seem a bit odd until you realize it's actually still alphabetically ordering them within each specific file extension. Notice how they're all movie files, but it's subtly listed all the MP4 files and then the MOV files. But let's say you don't care about distinctions between file types like MP4 and MOV. You just want straight up alphabetical order within each kind. No problem. Just right click and select Show View Options. Notice how in addition to Group By, we've also got Sort By. So change that Sort By to Name and notice the difference. Now it's sorting all the movie files purely by file name and is not making any distinction based on file extension, the MP4 versus MOV. Let's do another quick grouping example. This time we'll group the folder's contents by size. It smartly creates these file size groups, and within each group, it's sorting the files alphabetically. But let's say we want everything sorted purely by file size. Well, in our view options, which I never closed, just choose Sort By Size. So now literally as you scroll up through the files, the size of each individual file is getting bigger. So here's the thing. You can use groups in exactly the same way when using list view. So it's not a unique advantage of the column view. But my point is, by utilizing groups within column view, you're basically able to replicate the key benefit of list view, which is basically sorting items however you want. But with column view, you have the added benefit of being able to more quickly jump around to other folders entirely. Like here, let's say I wanted to jump over to my fonts folder. I can immediately do so by directly clicking on font base. Whereas if I were in list view, the quickest option would be to click on Kaslo in the path bar down below, and then click on font base. So obviously that's more clicks to get there. But also, what if I forgot that my font base folder was located within the Kaslo folder in the first place? Then I wouldn't even know necessarily to look within there. But this is where column view has the clear edge over list view, because you can just see so many of your files and folders. It's way more of a bird's eye view of more of your files.
Phenomenal cosmic power!
As opposed to being super limited within one specific folder. Okay, so hopefully I've effectively made the case for column view, but I'm super curious to hear from you guys. Are you on team list view for life, or are you with me on the column view? Leave a comment down below and let me know. But hey, before we move on, a couple more tips and tricks while we're on the subject of the column view. If you want a particular column to be wider, just go down here and grab this little handle and drag it to the right, or drag it back to the left to make it smaller. Another related trick is if you double click that same little handle, it'll actually expand or shrink the column width to fit the longest file name in that folder. Now check this out. Let's say you want to expand all of the columns together at the same time. No problem. Just hold the Option key while you're dragging the same handle left or right. Notice how all of the columns are beautifully scaling in unison. And even more cool, check this out. Let's say some of our columns are too narrow and some are too wide. Well, if you combine a couple of the tricks I just showed you, hold Option and double click any of those handles down below and watch what happens. It magically changes the width of every column to perfectly fit with the longest file name currently in each column.
So hot.
Let's get on.
Okay, one more area I want to delve into before we call it a day. Let's talk about the preview pane. Whenever you click on an actual file in column view, you should get this preview pane here to the right. If you don't see this on your Mac, well, you can go up to View and select Show Preview. Although what I really recommend you do is memorize the handy keyboard shortcut, Shift-Command-P. This is the quickest way to toggle the preview pane on or off. Most of you are probably already aware of all that, but I want to dig a little deeper here to illuminate how you can customize this preview pane to your liking. Firstly, a lot of files have a lot of fairly useless metadata. In the interest of reducing clutter, you can actually customize which bits of information are displayed in your preview pane. To do this, right-click pretty much anywhere and choose Show Preview Options. Simply check which items you want to have displayed and uncheck the items you don't care about. Me personally, the only bits of info I consistently care to see in the preview pane for video files are dimensions, so I can quickly determine whether a movie file is 4K or HD or something else, and duration, and super important to me always are tags. I always want that tag field visible for any of my files. Other than that, everything else is just distracting me from those three key specs. When you're done with that, close the preview options. Now notice that little text button there that says Show Less. When I click that, the preview pane will now only display the three things I care about. And if for whatever reason you want to see any of the other metadata for any given file, no problem. Just click Show More, and it'll instantly display all available metadata for that file. I don't want to see all that junk, so I'll press Show Less.
Get the fuck out of here!
Cool thing is, by adjusting those options just once for one video file, notice as I scroll through all these other video files, it retains my same display preferences. But notice how once I get to a different file type, like an MP3 in this case, we've got entirely different sets of metadata that are associated with audio files. So I need to specify my preview options for this file type. Once again, right-clicking and choosing Show Preview Options, I'll uncheck all the bits I don't care about, then close the preview options, and then click Show Less, and voila, I'm good to go with all audio files on my entire system. Whenever I come across any audio file in Finder, it'll simply display the duration and of course the tags field so I can add tags to my audio files. Okay, one last thing I want to touch on here is you can also specify which quick actions you want to display for any given file type. Me, for example, I've got just two for video files, basically one to rotate the video counterclockwise and another to quickly trim the video, both of which are super handy. Or if you don't want any quick actions to display for a specific file type, just go back to the preview options, and at the very bottom, there's a little checkbox for quick actions. Uncheck that, and you won't be bothered with any quick actions appearing in the preview pane for all of your audio files. Quick actions can be super handy and powerful, but honestly, that could be an entire in-depth video in and of itself, so I won't get into all that now. Just briefly informing you that those exist and that you can customize their display in Finder, specifically tailored to each file type. All right, thus concludes the inaugural edition of this new Finder series. 3 tips and then some to further enhance your Mac experience. In future episodes, I'm going to get into customizing your Finder's toolbar, creating a clean and truly unique desktop, making a super handy sidebar, quick actions, magical keyboard shortcuts, third-party integrations and apps, and so much more. All in the name of, loving your Mac. And of course, boosting your productivity and leveling up your creative skills. Cool. Well, that's all for today. I'll see you in the next video.
Subscribe for more.